All right, we should be live. Hey, what's up, everyone? Oh, I need to turn on some background music. Give me a second. How's everyone doing? Happy Wednesday. This is the, let's see. All right, this is the first stream back in like almost 3 weeks. At least back in the States. I did the one Japan stream, but it's the first stream back in the studio. How's everyone doing? All right, let me see. William Evans, thank you for the renewal, and Gnomed as well, thanks for the renewal. We got a bunch of renewals and stuff coming in for the notifications, so I'll let those play out. Alright, let's see who was here first today. Of course, Craig Lilly, what is up? We got Coalition Gaming Chris in the chat. We had Shawner, who was out of town visiting family. Who else we got? Demon Mitt. We got Arflet. Kale130 as always. Korean dude wants to look at the Montech King 95 case, which is one of the cases that I was going to pull up because I actually saw the Gear Seekers video on it. So I wanted to pull that one up, but he brought it up, so we'll do that. What's up, Chemical Aid? What's up, Colin Schultz? Coalition Gaming Chris, I just got the call today, landed a new job, higher responsibility, IT position, higher pay, nice. Bittersweet, given some other details you won't get into. Still awesome, nice. What's up, what's up? What is up, John? I have not even been able to test the parts for the build. John, I'm still catching up on so much stuff after being out of town for like 2.5 weeks, but it is still on the forefront of my mind. I got so much to catch up on, like this right here, which I'll talk a little bit later on the stream. So we've got this right here too, so yeah. But yeah, when does the new position start, Chris? That's exciting. Because I know you've been talking about looking at other jobs. It's been for a long time now. Though it seemed like you were pretty cush and cozy at your current job. So that's always a hard move to make when something just works, you know, and is fine. Wife said, let's go to Japan. Hey, everybody's going to Japan, I feel like. I know Jason Whitmer is planning Japan later this year, and I know some other people who've gone recently. And then when I tell people that I went to Japan, they all say, man, everyone's going to Japan. I know like a few other people have gone as well. So yeah. Wait, you start on the 19th? 19th of what, June? Or is the 19th your last day? Nice thing about Japan is that you don't really need a visa if you're an American citizen. So you don't have to like worry about doing all that, but to plan that in that short time, 19th start, you have less than 2 weeks. Trying to plan an international trip and get last minute flights like that would be crazy. But she wasn't serious about that, right? Mod Kevin Go says, hey yo, everyone excited for Diablo 4. So I need to get caught back up on the YouTube side of things, so that I can enjoy Diablo 4, because that's coming out in a week basically, and I don't even think I'm going to be able to play that much during launch because I've got a lot of stuff that I got to do, including finishing up a LAN party video that's gonna try to release this week, and then some build videos, budget build video, a a build video incorporating the 4060 Ti that Nvidia sent me. So much stuff. I basically, when I was gone on vacation, I got emails from both Nvidia and AMD about their new cards that they dropped, and I completely missed those embargo dates because I was gone. So yeah. Demon Mitt says, yeesh, Diablo 4 is a fat miss for me. PoE is just better in every way. If you haven't tried it out, it's worth a look. I have tried PoE out, and I don't know, maybe it's because I'm only familiar with Diablo. I couldn't get into PoE. It's hard to explain why, but I don't know, probably because I didn't give it a fair shot because I am such a big Blizzard fan, and I'm just used to, like, if you played any of the previous Diablos, I think the new ones, like, if you played 2 at all, 3 when it came out was very easy to get into, and I put a lot of hours into 3, so I think Diablo 4 is going to be a lot easier to get into than to get into a fresh, new, complete system like PoE. And I know PoE is super popular, and it's been around for the longest time, and it's free, right, except with microtransactions, but yeah, I don't know, I couldn't get into it. Part of it was, I don't like the UI. Let me look this up. Why don't I like the UI of Path of Exile? It looks like it's more archaic, like an older game. I don't know. Yeah, why don't I like the UI of PoE? Hey, what's up, Shawner? Wait, Chris's last day is the 16th, and then you're scheduling your last 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So you're scheduling your last 5 days off. How would you plan an international trip in that little of a time if you start on the 19th? So that's like a week about, right? Yeah, Demon Man, I don't know. I know people who are playing PoE right now, but we'll see. If Diablo can hold my interest, then I'm gonna play it, but I'm definitely not gonna put as much time in as I did like when Diablo 3 launched, and I know Life did, because I have too much stuff to do right now. So hopefully I'll let other people work out the kinks and bugs and, like, you know, bad server performance at the beginning of launch and stuff like that. Rob says, I'm sick. Hopefully you feel better. Manny TGM says, glad you had a great trip. Just joined the stream. I can't wait to go to Japan, especially since I started working with Delta. You get the employee discount. What would be the employee discount for working at like an airline company? We talking like pretty big discounts here? Or is it like, you know, 10, 20%? Yeah, I'll get all the tips from Kevin Ngo here. I'll ask him to power level me. Sideri says, hey Danny, there's some really nice cases from Computex. My favorite so far are the BeQuiet's newest cases. They have nice airflow. Oh yeah, so we'll pull up BeQuiet's stuff from Computex as well. In terms of websites that kind of gather up all the Computex stuff, I've been looking at Tom's Hardware because they have like these articles that have links to individual overviews of all the stuff. But for pulling up on stream, because I want to not have to pull up a bunch of different videos and skim through them, what websites do you guys go to for like written article reviews of stuff? I know, so Tom's is doing it. I think Verge has it as well, but where's your guys' go-to? Kit Guru, I think, is doing a lot of coverage too. But yeah, let me write all these down. BeQuiet Computex 2023, and we'll pull them up during the stream. Yeah, the new 11 dynamic, what is it, the Vision, right? Yeah, so one of the emphases I've seen on cases for Computex this year is so there's a lot of glass, and then now they're trying to get rid of any like paneling, like metal paneling or anything like that, any bars, any support structure, and show as much glass as possible. Which I don't know, I don't get too excited about glass in terms of cases. My last couple of cases have not had glass on them because I go for the mini ITX towers, but we'll take a look at all that in a second while we just kind of chill here and let people get to stream for a second. Yeah, so Computex officially only started yesterday. It started on Tuesday. So though there has been like pre-convention coverage as well. Like I think some of the companies, they have like suites and stuff set up at like the hotels and areas around the venue, so people were able to like have coverage of pre-Computex stuff ahead of time. But the actual event I think only started on Tuesday. So KO130 says, I'm just waiting for a clip together fans to become standard. Yeah, so that's one of the things that I'm pretty excited about, and we saw quite a bit of that at CES. And the thumbnail for this stream is actually Corsair's new link system, which I thought was pretty cool, so I wanted to go over that. Because yeah, case fans, even before RGB, has always been a little bit annoying because you had individual connectors. The more manufacturers are starting to integrate them to be able to connect without any cables, or with at least short cables, and to be able to all link together so that you don't have to individually connect them to like a central hub, the better. Because yeah, that definitely does reduce the cable management. I think Corsair, they're kind of, with their new link thing, which we will bring up in the stream, I think they've gone like kind of overboard in a good way. But I know I can already see how expensive it's going to be, but at least they're setting the trend so that all the other people or companies in the industry can start to follow suit and then offer it at lower prices. But yeah, of course, Corsair being the first to the gate with this idea or design, they're going to be the most expensive, but yeah. Yeah, Shawner says, I love Corsair iCUE and the control you get, but oh my god, it's a pain in the ass to manage with the old system. It is. Like, having built multiple systems for people who wanted all Corsair parts, it was a pain, especially when you have anywhere from 6 to 9 RGB fans in there. You have a lot of those systems. I had to use 2 different hubs because the fan hubs can only support so many. So yeah, I think that the new system is gonna be really cool. We just gotta wait to see what that price tag is like. Oh yeah, Shawner, did you complete your new build in that Fractal North case with the wood panels? Is that build finally done? Oh, look in stream submissions. Okay, yeah, I will for sure do that. Which, by the way, if there's anything from Computex you guys want me to look at, you can go over to the Discord server, and if you look in stream submissions, oh yeah, we're gonna take a look at Shawner's as well. But I'll post it in here. If you guys click on this link, it'll take you right to the stream submissions, where if you guys want to post either videos or articles from stuff from Computex you think looks interesting, or if you want to discuss on stream, do that here. And yeah, I can pull them up on stream for us to look at. And wow, look at wait, Shawner, you're still waiting for the cables from Cable Mod? Okay. Man, I feel like we've been talking about those Cable Mod cables for like, what, since March? Maybe even February? It feels like it's been a long time. But yeah. Is glass turning into the new acrylic from the early 2000s? I mean, there's only so much you can do with glass, right? But I think with Montech's case, And I don't know if there's any other curved glass cases like this anyways. That's like the next thing they're doing. I don't know what else beyond curving glass. And I don't even know if curved glass, I don't even know if I think it's a good idea. And we'll talk about that once we get to that case. But yeah. We don't. Oh yeah, we're gonna ask you how long it took, Shawner, when we get to looking at your case. Montech has a cheap case with curved glass. Cheap. I mean, I think it's over $100. Isn't it like 110, 120, 130 around that price range? But it is like supposed to be. It looks like, you know, that O11 dynamic dual chamber style design, and it looks premium. It's kind of weird. What is Montech's most expensive case? If we were to go to Newegg, which I don't know if Newegg is going to be the best, because with case prices for cases, it fluctuates all the time. But we look at Montech, and we don't ever do this, but we'll do it this one time. Go away, Newegg sidebar. What we're gonna do is we're gonna look at highest price first. We usually never sort by highest price first, but we'll do that now. Montech's most expensive case, yeah, right now is their Sky 2, which is $130. So the new their new King 95 case, I think it's still within this price range. So yeah, Montech is still keeping it pretty budget relative to a lot of other case manufacturers, which have cases that run upwards of, you know, up to 200, 250-ish. I'm trying to think of the most premium Montech case I've used or have seen. I don't know, in my mind, and hope maybe as time goes on, Montech will change this, but in my mind, Montech is still kind of like a quote-unquote cheap brand that makes less than premium feeling or quality cases. And it's because I typically use the ones that are, you know, fully kitted out with RGB fans that are anywhere from like 50, 60, 70 bucks. I know they have more premium stuff that run into the hundreds of dollars, but I don't really like their design. Like, I don't like these cases right here with the big RGB strip down the middle. That's just not my style. This one, Montech Air X, I've actually used this one, and this definitely, for 99 bucks, it definitely feels like a kind of cheaper case. You can even tell by the look of it. This is a cheap feeling case if you've ever used this. Ugh, why did they not make these, like the borders on the tempered glass white? They just kept it black, it sticks out. So yeah, stuff like that. This is an old Montech case though. It's been around for a while. I'm sure like with their newer stuff, they've improved on some of these design aesthetics. Jason is at H Mart. Tell him one thing to buy. H Mart. What do I typically buy when we're at H Mart? We always get new cilantro and green onions whenever we go to the grocery store, whether it be an Asian grocery store or like an American grocery store. Always gotta keep fresh supply because those go bad so fast. Cilantro and green onions, they last like 5 days. Grab some Hello Panda and Pockies. Strawberry flavored because those are the best ones. We actually don't have... We have like really small Mexican like mini marts around us, but we don't have larger ones that are the size of like H Mart or like you would see all over California. All the ones that we have are like really tiny stores in like this, you know, corners of shopping plazas and stuff like that. Yeah, but to my knowledge, not any large ones. Is a 4070 with the 12700K a good combo? Yeah, that's fine. That's a perfectly good combo. Now, some people are going to argue whether or not the 4070 is worth $600, but that's another story. Performance wise, if you're not even caring about pricing and if you already have it, yeah, that's a fine combo. Rad Robot says, I'd like to see more mesh side panel options. Mesh side panel options, like complete mesh? Okay. PC case mesh side panel. So we see a lot of like more of like ITX. Like here's the SS how do you even say this company's name? SSUPD SUPD. But this is a ITX tower. They have a mesh side panel. I'm trying to think of like a mid tower case that has a mesh side panel. I don't really know if that's completely necessary. You get plenty of airflow from the front. If you have it from the side, yeah, sure, I guess it helps feed the graphics card, but I don't really know if it's gonna have that much more benefit to feeding the graphics card direct fresh air as opposed to coming in from the front. So I don't know if that's really gonna be too popular of a design. Yeah, like I'm trying to find a mesh side panel PC case, and the only ones that I'm really seeing is this looks like a homemade one right here on Reddit, but you see them a lot on ITX cases, more so than like a mid or micro ATX. Jason Whitmer is confirmed for LTX, so he will be going to LTX, as will I, as will Coalition Gaming Chris. I think Shawner is going, and a handful of other people from this chat. The way things are going, mesh side panels aren't the direct. Here's the thing though. We're gonna run our first poll of the day. Do you think mesh side panels for regular size towers, micro ATX, mid, full, etc. makes sense? Okay, so just thinking about it right now. So do you think mesh side panels for regular size towers, like micro ATX, mid, full, etc., not mini ITX, not small form factor, do you think they make sense for regular size towers? I don't think they make sense, because the airflow is going to be fed to, for the most part, just a graphics card. If you have a tower style air cooler or an AIO that's mounted to the front, then it's gonna get airflow to the front. If you have it to the side, I guess you can get fresh air as opposed to like recycled or used up warm air from any front AIOs. But even then, I haven't run into many systems, and that's probably because I don't build on the higher end bleeding edge of overclocking, right? I haven't built any systems where using the after the fact radiator warm air has given me like really bad temps on the graphics card. So I don't know how common that situation will be, where you are running your CPU so hot that after going through the radiator, it's going to warm up the air to give you that better performance, or at least air temperatures for the graphics card. Yeah, and Riot New makes a good point. It would cut down the pressure for airflow. So in terms of like setting like a purposeful airflow path, having one gigantic mesh side panel would kind of mess that up. Now you could do a side panel where you make part of it mesh and then you kind of combine that with a glass top portion maybe on top of the graphics card, but to me it just doesn't make sense to do. Ethan Yates, I've been here since 3,000 subs, bro. Yeah, dude, Ethan Yates, I remember your username. I bet if I pulled up comments, or if I searched for comments from back then, I could probably find them. Let me see if I can do that on the side here real quick. But thanks for the support over the years. 3,000 subs. That was back in 2016 still. So let me see. Oh no, it looks like you didn't leave any comments back then. Oh yeah, I should always put the reminder to like and subscribe to stream for visibility. Thanks for the reminder, Riot Noob. Jason, I like that reference, or I know what that reference is from. Jason has been watching me since my rock climbing video, since he was 5. Sideri says, Danny, check submissions. Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Yep, so I got, so we have a bunch of submissions. So let's get into the Computex talk. It's been 25 minutes since stream started. Oh wait, let me check one thing. I do have a possible offer-up meeting right after stream. Okay, person did not respond. Typical offer-up. But yeah, no, I need to go buy something on offer-up, and I'm waiting on the buyer, and I think they want to meet tonight. So I might have to end stream exactly on time. But okay, so I have all of this pulled up. So definitely submit if you want me to. Oh my goodness, Sideri. What is this thing? Check out this from Silverstone. And then I'll get Shawner. I'll get to your case after we get through the Computex stuff. But yeah, what is this? I mean, it looks like just a display piece. It doesn't look like an actual functional, you know, because you see the pump block here, you see the tubes up to the fan and radiator. This stuff around it, it looks like it's rotatable, but for what? What is the context of the... Oh! Oh, so it is functional. Yeah, for VRM cooling. I'm trying to think of... So, you know, now that you mentioned the VRM cooling, AIO was VRM cooling, now that you mention it, one of the annoying things when installing AIOs in the first place is sometimes your tubes, the way that you know, attach the pump block to the motherboard, sometimes the tubes just want to bend a certain way, and sometimes that certain way is with the tube barbs pointing towards your RAM, and sometimes you get collision when that happens, when the barbs stick out too much. So I'm curious if, like, the way that this is being shown, it looks like it's coming off to the side, potentially pointing towards RAM. And if it does, like, you see how this is rotated in a way such that it might be over, you know, it might hit the tubes. So yeah, this would be something that I would like to see a video of. Let's see, Silverstone. Do they have a video on it? Oh, they do. Okay, so we'll check out the video. You can rotate them, but they said not right now. It's just, okay, so it's kind of like a prototype or something. So yeah, let's pull up this video. It's by Kit Guru. Kit Guru is who has been producing a ton of Computex content. Okay. So I'm going to turn this up right now.
240 ARGB is a regular 240mm ARGB AIO, just as it looks, except it has a cap that can come off the pump body and go back on. And this means if you add in their humorously named IMF70 accessories, 70 because 70mm, there are little extra fans. You see, it uses the...
Okay, so you remove the pump block cover, and then I thought this was built in already, and so it's like a modular. You can add. It looks like they can link up to each other because that's how they showed the other image, where you just keep on adding and stacking to it. Okay, pretty cool.
Same mounting mechanism, and now you can stack up your fans. Puts the cap back on. Of these IMF70s, the only limitation, apart from the thing falling apart, is PWM power from your motherboard and the rest, which means...
Okay, so this is very interesting to see. I'm going to mute this now, but... So they only have it shown kind of like a prototype. They don't even have it in a build, it looks like, from this video. So, yeah, that's what I'm most curious about, because this is what I was talking about earlier. When you... This is what it looks like most of the time when you install an AIO. A lot of the time, the barbs for the pump block come out on the RAM side of things. So in terms of RAM cooling, I could see this kind of getting in the way, maybe, this new product. But yeah, if you want to point one upwards and to the side, but if you look at the VRMs on a lot of motherboards these days, especially with the ones that cover it with a lot of plastic, and like, you know, for aesthetics, not necessarily even metal, I don't know how effective that cooler will actually be. I do agree with KL130 though. This is definitely gonna make your PC look weird. Shawner says it adds character. So this is an interesting design. It shows that they're thinking out of the box at least, and not just regurgitating, you know, the same thing over and over. Like, I don't think I would have ever thought of this. But now that this is like at least a prototype and potentially a thing, it is gonna draw more attention to other potential solutions for VRM cooling, which I think is a good thing. I don't necessarily think this is a good idea, or at least a good design aesthetically. I'm sure performance-wise, just having any kind of active fan over VRMs, it helps. But hopefully this gets other companies now thinking about it so that they can come up with more elegant looking solutions. This is pretty interesting though. Perfect for a C build. I don't need 37 pieces of flare. Kind of reminds me of underwater. Yeah, it does look... I mean, this is something that I would imagine if you wanted to make like a your aquarium or your fish tank at home look cool. Putting this in it would look really cool. But oh man, Jason brings up a good point. Ever feel like people should just chill about worrying too much about PC hardware and just play games? Yeah, I think so. We should make that into a poll question. Let me end the other poll. But in terms of mesh side panels, it's an even split. We had 1/3 of the chat say they think that mesh side panels make sense, 33% that says they don't make sense, and 33 are sitting on the fence. But all right, new panel. Do people... do you think... Okay. So my vote for this poll is definitely yes. It doesn't take that much to get a PC up and running to be able to like do what you need it to, whether it be gaming or like video editing, or anything else, you know, rendering, Photoshop. But it does feel like some people are into the PC hobby, and I guess you could say that's me, because I don't even game that much nowadays compared to how much I build and tinker around with computers. But yeah, I think some people, especially if they aren't like PC builders or PC flippers or reseller and buyers, if you are just a person who pretty much has one PC and that's all you like really own, you don't build a bunch of side systems and stuff like that, once you get your PC up and running, you should just thoroughly enjoy it, because that's the reason you built it in the first place, right? Now, there is that side of the argument where, you know, PC building is a hobby, but the amount of time it takes to build a PC isn't even that long at all. You could, if you know what you're doing, and even if you were brand new, it doesn't take that long to build a PC. Brand new, it could probably take like a whole day or two if you're like starting from zero knowledge. But if you watch some decent amount of guides and stuff, you could definitely cut that down to a few hours. And if you're like an experienced PC builder, if you're not building like a super complex system, it could take like an hour, right? So beyond that, I feel like a lot of people, instead of taking their PC and just enjoying it, they are constantly looking to upgrade or constantly looking to do stuff with it because they aren't happy with it. Cookie Crumb says, spending 6 years scratch building a case isn't worth it. Trust me, just play games, lol. Jason says, I love this hobby, but sometimes I get annoyed with how much people forget why they build the damn things. Yeah. Sidewee says, am I opinion, go all out with what you can, with what you want in a PC build and make it unique to you. Yeah, so we have differing opinions here. And there's nothing wrong with going all out with the PC build and making it unique to you. I think the issue is I see some people obsess and they like buy, you know, like all these unique things in their PCs, but then they turn around and not even a year later, they're already wanting to upgrade and to change things up when it took all that planning and money in the first place to like put together that PC. And then they're already looking like to change cases, and when you change cases, sometimes you have to reconsider doing other things. Like if you change form factors, you might have to change motherboards, power supplies, and stuff like that. Demon Mitt says, as someone who builds PCs a lot, I can tell you that I avoid working on and obsessing over my PC. I just want it to work and I don't want it to have to tinker with it at all. Yeah, that's the same mindset with me. Like, my PC, since I've built it, and it's been, I built it around last summer, almost a year now. I haven't made any major modifications to it at all, except for changing out the graphics card to like, you know, the different AMD cards. To test and use, but that's it. I haven't made any aesthetic changes. I haven't made any major changes like to the cooling, to the fans, none of that. It just works, and that's all. And when I build a new system, for sure, I'm gonna plan it, and I'm gonna look for, you know, the certain parts to get into it and stuff like that. But once it's built, it's not something that I care to constantly tinker and change around. Shawner says, yeah, who would change their PC only after 18 months? Now, my question to people who do upgrade around every year or so, or have changed things out, when you built the prior system, was your intent to swap up parts and upgrade and change after only 12 to 18 months? Or did you plan on, because this is what I hear from most people, especially when they decide to spend more on a more premium build, they say, spend more upfront now. Tech Deals says stuff like this. If you guys know who Tech Deals is, Jason from Tech Deals, one of his things that he always talks about is he likes to justify like $2,000-$3,000 builds and stuff like that, getting i9s, Ryzen 9s, RTX 4080s, 4090s, and he says it's because then you can leave it for 5 years and not ever have to worry about it, right? But I don't think people ever really do that. If you think about the people who are usually buying the 4090s and like the higher end i9s and stuff like that, they don't run those parts to the end of their life usually. They're the types of people who tend to upgrade more frequently, if anything, because they're super, you know, into the hobby and obsessed with it. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. I don't think spending money at the super high end is usually worth it for most people. I usually like to operate in the mid to upper mid tier and upgrade every 2 to 3 years. Just because I don't think an i9 6 years after the fact, I mean, sure, it'll still hold up, but it costs so much up front that you could have upgraded like 2 to 3 times already in like the mid to upper mid tier. So for cheaper too. And I don't know, it depends on if you think $1 is worth more now or in 6 years. Rad Robot says, I fiddle constantly, hold over from being a gearhead. Joe 1400 says, I wait 4 years to upgrade. Yeah, 4 years is actually a pretty good. 4 years, I feel like, is on the longer end compared to most people. I feel like 3 years, like that sweet spot where a lot of people who work on their own computers would upgrade, because that is about the every other product cycle. The one that says I've got a 12400F and a 6700 XT. Yeah, system like that is still super solid, and I'm probably gonna be happy with it. A system, what, a 12400F 6700 XT? That's what, a $800-900 system, depending on how you kit out the rest of the build. And that can still last you easily, yeah, until 2025. The newer games coming out, it depends on what your requirements are, right? Are you trying to play? If you're trying to play AAA titles that are coming out like right now at max settings, it probably won't. But I don't know how many people are trying to play those at like super high FPS. You can just lower the settings and still be happy, especially since most of like those games are like console games to begin with, console ports like Last of Us. Like, I don't know, I feel like 60 FPS is fine on those. Okay, so let's go back to the, let's take a look at, do we have the King case up? The Montech King, which, alright, this is the Gear Seekers video, which if you guys haven't seen Nick from Gear Seekers, one of the channels that I enjoy a lot, yeah, so he's a medium-sized channel, you know, kind of around the same size as me, so I'd love to show him support, but here's that Montech King case that that Korean dude actually brought up. So here's, I'll link Nick's video here if you guys want to check it out later, but I want to get to the Montech the curved tempered glass portion, because I feel like that's the most interesting part.
To seamless glass without any paint on this joint here. Montech's got the Sky 3 that they're working on. This is a prototype version of the case. Maybe the
Whoops, I am muted. Wow. Sorry about that. Wow, thank you for everyone. You guys are so fast about the muted. But what I'm saying is, I prefer this design. I prefer this design over the curved glass, which we'll take a look at in a second. Did you guys think that this was ever that bad though? Like for the 011 dynamic or any similar cases, did you ever think that this bar, this you know metal portion of the case here was that bad aesthetically? Like, do you prefer it to have just glass on glass? From the different Computex coverage I've seen, this is starting to become more of like a trend that a lot of manufacturers are doing. I always wanted that pillar to go away. Yes, okay. The Gambia's Niso P1, I'll pull that up, but I have not yet. Demon Mitt. Just glad they both look good to me. Yeah, I always thought it looks fine. So, I never. Like, I didn't mind this, so it might just be something where once it becomes more regular, I might start to prefer this over the other. But yeah, I don't think it's that huge of a deal. But oh yeah, and then Brian. So I think right when I got back from Japan, Brian was heading out to Computex. So yeah, we were not able to meet up while I was in Japan at all. But there's the two Australian content creators on screen with each other. But here we go. So, okay, I gotta remember not to mute myself. Or to unmute when I talk.
Check, dude. So.
All right, ladies and gents, the pizza of resistance. The King 95. This is probably the best case I've seen on the booth here this year. This case right here is similar to other cases that we've seen from other vendors in the past. Lots of cool tricks up its sleeve, but the main one is this does away with the flat panel and has curved glass. Now, if you know anything about building cases, you'll know that curving glass or bending glass in any way in the production process makes it far more expensive. However, really good news for you guys, right? $109 US for the base model with curved glass.
All right, so $109. Let me see if he has closer up footage of this. Oh, and then they have a mesh version too. So this has curved glass, but it's not the entire thing. So I don't know, like, what are your guys' thoughts on this? So I'm going to end the other poll. Do you think people obsess too much about their PCs instead of just enjoying them in gaming? Most of you guys said yes. So, okay, seems like most people are on the same page here. So, regarding that. But with the curved glass, I think maybe I had too high of expectations, but it seems kind of like a gimmick because you still have that seam there. Let me see if I can find a better picture of it. Montech King 95 case. The issue is, if it was one continuous piece of glass, then I could be a little bit more for it, but it's two pieces of glass still. So my question is, what is the point of putting the curve in there when you still have to have it broken into two pieces? Let's see, King 95. Let me see if I can get some good images on here. Here it is. Tech power up for the win. Oh, and they have a bunch of the other stuff. But okay, can we maximize this anymore? We can't. Let me try to zoom in. Okay, this is good enough. But all right, so here's the a zoomed in picture of it. Yeah, what is the point of curving the glass right at the end here, only to have it terminate and then have another piece here? This seam is still the same seam that you get when you butt two pieces of flat glass together. You're not saving that much space. If anything, when you have curves like this, you start to intrude into the radiator space up top. So you have to be more mindful of like the size of the radiators. This is something that I actually ran into, or that you do run into with the Hyte Y60 case. With the Hyte Y60 case, because they have that wedge in the front here, because they have this wedge, you can't get a full radiator to the full, like, to this front side of the case. It has to terminate early because this starts cutting into that. So, I don't know. Like, are you guys a fan of this curved glass here? Because I think it's definitely a gimmick. I don't see the point of it unless I'm missing something. Okay, see what people are having to say. Fu Manchu says, Hyte just makes their own radiators now that basically only fit their cases. I mean, that would be one solution to having a case that has a weird design that starts intruding into the space of your hardware. More fish tank PCs, please, says Legend So Cool. I'm definitely not on the fish tank PC train. I don't have anything super against them. The only thing I have against fish tank PC cases is when they're really expensive, like the Hyte Y60 was. okay, not really expensive, but like when they're, I guess the Hyte Y60 kind of delivered with like more features and stuff like that. But I feel like right now, since it's the new hot thing, case manufacturers, when they do it, they tend to charge more. Though this Montech case is kind of going against the grain here, because something like this, it's only at 110. It probably isn't going to be fitted with fans or anything. He said the base model was 110, so I can only imagine they're either not including fans or they're just including, you know, the cheap fans that they typically do on the more budget cases. Yeah, exactly, Demon Man. What fans does it come in with at 110? We'll have to see. That, I mean, this is still kind of like, I don't even know if they've initially announced it on their website. Let me see if they did, because then we could get more information. So Montech, let's see, Titan. Yeah, I don't think they unveiled a keyboard here, but I don't think they've. It's probably still considered more of a prototype, if anything, than an actual official launch. Let's see, products. Oh my goodness, why is their website so broken? Oh, cool. Let me get rid of the search here. Okay. Yeah, so we're gonna have to wait for details on that. Oh, Legend So Cool says no, I hate them. They ugly. Oh, so you're just joking. Would probably look good with some water builds. I think water builds look fine in like standard cases. Graham says don't like it. A reservoir could fit in that curve. Well, the thing is, a reservoir could fit in a normal glass-to-glass like butt up. The curve only reduces the amount of space you have. It doesn't give you any more. Yeah, I mean, I understand why it has to be two parts. Having one continuous piece is probably a fitment nightmare too. To be able to curve it and have it fit perfectly onto the case and be a perfect 90-degree angle. Yeah, so, and if it was a 90-degree angle, you'd have to force fit it and put stress on it, and it'll probably not be good in terms of transportation. And Demon Mitt says normies are gonna love this case though. What I'm curious about is, in person, is it gonna have that, like again, like I mentioned earlier, is it gonna have that cheap Montech case feel to it? You know what I'm talking about, right? Like Montech cases, when you look at the front I/O buttons and ports, when you look at the paneling, when you feel the plastic and the metal and stuff like that, even the feet is something too. On the cases, Montech cases just have a quote-unquote cheaper feeling to them. They're less dense. They're in terms of like material, it's less weight. Like the feet are generally like kind of like these plastic pucks that it just doesn't feel like a high quality case. So something like this at 110, they're aesthetically they usually look nice, but beyond that, there are ways that they have to cut corners to cut down the price, right? So yeah. Hey, what's up, Firestorm? Assault Lee says, should I buy a GPU now or should I wait? Depends on what GPU. So questions like this, it all depends, right? Should you buy a GPU now or should you wait? What GPU are you coming from? If you have like a 3060 or something like that, then wait, right? But if you're coming from like a GTX 750 Ti, then I mean, why not buy a GPU right now? Especially, it depends on your budget too. If you are in the $300 or less club, then pretty much anything that you should care about has already come out. Except for, I guess, Nvidia's $300 offering, which it's going to be interesting to see what lands at that price. We got the 4060 Ti at $400, so Where's that gonna put the 4060 and 4050 relative to that? But we can't answer this. Should you buy a GPU now without knowing what you currently have and without knowing how much you have to spend? Because that's basically going to tell us, do you have enough money to even make a worthwhile purchasing like choice? I have low confidence in Nvidia's low offerings after the 3050 lol. Yeah, well, so the interesting thing about this is that Nvidia has already set the line at a $400 4060 Ti. So they still have a couple more products to fit in there, which is just going to be the 40. Well, they're going to have different variants of the 4060 Ti. They're going to come out with like the higher VRAM, but that's going to be a higher price. But you're going to look at everything $400 and below. They somehow still have to fit a 4060 non-Ti and a 4050 in there. Maybe a 4050 Ti, if that's even going to be a thing anymore that they do. But so you have two more products to fit in there. They could do it in $50 increments where you get the $350 4060 and then a $300 4050. Or they could spread it out a bit more and it pushes the 4050 down more. Either way, if it follows the trends of things that we've seen, dollar per frame, it's not going to beat AMD. But you're going to get better ray tracing performance. So it's up to you what brand you want to go with, right? And let's see what we got here. The Talk 64 says, I can't wait till the 5000. Are you talking about RTX 5000 series to come out in 2024? If it comes out in 2024, it's not going to be till the very tail end of it. But I don't know how realistic that's even going to be. That would be actually no. I guess by then it'll be about 2-year product cycle. Yeah, okay, that sounds about right. But even then, you're only gonna get the newer end stuff that comes out at the end of 2024 if they follow the trend of their releases. And again, you're not gonna get the more affordable mid-range stuff until the middle of 2025. So. Okay, back on to let's see, Computex. So Sideri had that. Okay, so you mentioned the BeQuiet Cases. Is this the Gamers Nexus coverage? Oh, and you put it on the timestamp. Nice. Okay, let's take a look at this.
It's a lot more to it, but I'm going to stop there for this case, and we're going to move on to the next one. Right behind me are the new Shadow-based 800K.
Even with them cutting out the middleman, Sideri, I don't know, unless we'll have to wait and see because at Computex they didn't give people hands-on with the cases, right? You can only kind of take a look at it. I don't even know if people were able to to really get hands-on and take it apart and stuff like that. But it's gonna be really different once that Montech King 95 case is actually buildable in. Because then you can really comment on the build quality of it. I'm skeptical with Montech just because most of the cases that I've seen from them, they just have that cheaper feeling, there's nothing wrong with it. Because at the end of the day, if you think of what a case is supposed to do, a case holds your parts, it protects them from, I don't know, accidental water splash, I guess. But it for the most part holds your parts and directs airflow and allows you to powered up by pressing the power button. Beyond that, everything else is kind of considered extra, aside from, being able to fit all the parts you want to fit into it. Like, you don't have to have thicker panels. You don't have to have higher quality, like, panels and glass and parts and stuff like that. But it's just something that you notice as you work with more cases. For PC flippers, I feel like the cheaper cases are better because when you post a listing on like eBay or OfferUp or Craigslist or Jawwar or whichever, is all the cheaper cases, you can make them look really nice. It's not until you actually start handling the case and like have it sitting in front of you do you realize how much cheaper like a $50 case is compared to like a $100 or $150 counterpart.
And there's a couple alternative options. So to go over it as quickly as possible, there's FX, DX, and then a base model, and I'll take you back through all the information. But this is new tooling. These cases share the interior tooling but have differences in fan configuration and LED configuration. BeQuiet primarily is focusing on getting to a more airflow focused design. They've experimented with this in a few cases not too long ago, like some of the DX series that actually did really well in our testing previously, and they're expanding the scope on it. So for the Shadow Base 800 FX SKUs, it's LEDs, as you see here. They've got LED strips on it. This one's got the...
Okay, so what... Oh, is the sound coming through double, by the way? Maybe I can just... I had my mic unmuted that entire time. Was it coming through just fine? Or was it doubling because the mic was picking it up while my desktop sounds was playing? Let me know, because otherwise I just don't need to mute my mic at all. Hey, what's up, Kenny D? Oh, it sounded fine? Okay, I'm just not going to mute then. Maybe OBS is smart enough to know that both of the sounds are exactly the same, so it doesn't double up and echo. Sweet, perfect. Yeah, so in terms of BeQuiet's cases, from what I'm seeing from the Gamers Nexus coverage so far, this
blinking pattern, and they're using light wings fans that mid-range to higher end cases.
This looks like
to the front of the...
It looks like BeQuiet, aside from adding more airflow, didn't do... Let's see what else they did.
Chassis allows you to at least remove it pretty freely. And behind it, I did actually like the dust filter, so it unclips pretty...
Okay, dust filter, easy to remove front panel. I mean, we've seen that before, so nothing super crazy new here.
And good amount of depth, so if there's any sag from air nodes, but this is kind of what you're working with. They can support 420 radiators in the front. It can support a 420 in the top. Simultaneously might be a little tricky depending. I mean, we'll see in front. 114.
Yeah, so in terms of the BeQuiet, because someone who posted this, yeah, Sidewe posted it. There's not a tons of bells and whistles. It looks like from BeQuiet. It just looks like they're making cases that you would have expected to see, like, a year or two ago, except just improving on airflow and some of the smaller things that people don't think about, like during the build process, ease of removability of like certain components and things like that. The thing about BeQuiet is, I feel like, and maybe some of you guys who have built and sold PC part or sold PCs like Demon Mitt, Shawner, Jason, or anyone else who buys and flips PCs, BeQuiet cases are the types of cases that you would build your own computer in, but you wouldn't put into you wouldn't use for a flip. Would you agree with that statement? I feel like BeQuiet, they don't look flashy enough to be able to sell to like people who are looking to buy pre-built systems, and they aren't priced low enough for you to get good enough profit margin compared to like the Montechs, compared to the DIY PCs, compared to all the other budget offerings that exist out there. Yeah, so Demon Mitt says, if I recall correctly, these are going to be $150 to $200, which again, there's that BeQuiet Premium, which I don't know. The only times I've really worked with BeQuiet cases is if I got my hands on something that was already in a BeQuiet case. I don't think I have ever actively sought out to buy a BeQuiet case to put my own build in, or to put any of my friends or family's builds in, or when I do a build for people. And it's probably because of the price tag. If I show anybody that I'm building a PC for, like, hey, here's a BeQuiet case, and here is a case that's pretty similar to it from a different brand. First of all, BeQuiet to the normie crowd, I feel like isn't even that popular of a brand, right? If you tell someone Corsair, Cooler Master, or BeQuiet, BeQuiet is probably going to be the brand that they have not heard of to the more casual crowd. So it's not as well known of a brand to people who aren't into PCs, and it costs more, so there isn't much of a reason to use it. Hey, what's up, AJ? Glad to see you in the stream, and I think I saw you during the Japan stream as well, right? But yeah, I did enjoy it. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you're doing well as well. BeQuiet is popular for their ease of modding, but yeah, super expensive. Yeah. Function almost over form in almost every way, yeah. BeQuiet cases, I mean, let's just take a look at BeQuiet on Newegg. And I'm going to look at Newegg just because I think they're going to lay out, you know, the gallery view a lot better than the BeQuiet website. But we look at, let's see, BeQuiet cases, power adapters. Where's the case? Oh, computer cases. Here we go. And we try to take a look, like, I mean, I don't know. I guess you could say their Pure Base 500 is kind of flashy. I actually don't like this design at all. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this design. Just having this gigantic bar in the middle with some RGB. I would rather just see the full fans. Like, I don't think there's any function to this, right? Double click on image to zoom. Yeah, like there's no function to this middle bar except to look unique, I guess. But except you're cutting into some of the mesh that would otherwise provide more airflow, and I just don't think splitting the fan, you know, the fan circle with this in the middle looks good. But what other case? Let's see. Yeah, a lot of their other cases are, you know, because they're going for quiet, right? So it's very simple design. Some of these are, let's see, the silent base. If you look through here, nothing screams flashy. If this is their flashiest cases, then yeah, that's not their focus at all. Shawner says, yeah, no, I think I've used one BeQuiet case out of 75-ish PCs. Not good for flips. Yep. And here's the thing though, I don't even consider myself a PC flipper. I build lots of systems, but I don't flip them. But considering that I usually do try to maximize dollars into like the GPU or CPU, it's hard to spend more money on a case when, again, at the end of the day, the function is to house your components and to have the power button to turn it on. And as long as cooling and space is fine, it's really hard for me to justify spending a lot more money on. So, okay, that's the BeQuiet coverage. I think if you're super enthusiast, if you're super into the, you know, minimizing noise, lowering temps, the BeQuiet stuff is going to be exciting for you. But other than that, it doesn't look like they're bringing too much like true innovation, right? It's just incremental improvements on existing design, kind of like almost like a refresh. N2Tech says, if I'm building for family, I use BeQuiet. N2Tech, is there a reason why you use BeQuiet over? I mean, is it because you do try to minimize noise and, you know, have the best airflow? What's a good case in my opinion? If I had to name a case that's pretty well known, that's priced pretty well and performs well, and has like plenty of, you know, good features and is like friendly for both enthusiasts and for like beginners, I would say I think the 4000D airflow pretty much checks most of the boxes. I know some people aren't gonna be a fan of it because it doesn't have like full support for like larger radiators and stuff like that, but like this is a case and it usually goes on sale because it's like $104 here. But like in terms of building in these, like there's not much wrong with it. And it looks pretty standard, right? It doesn't look super gimmicky. It doesn't have a bunch of like flash to it. It is a standard box style case with good airflow and you know, plenty of space to build in. I wouldn't really recommend the 5000D just because in comparison, the 5000D is just way too big for most people's needs or uses. Sure, if you're an enthusiast and stuff like that, you might want to go for a larger case. But in terms of like a standard to compare to, I think the 4000D is pretty good. Yeah, so that's what I was saying. I don't know how, not many people need a 360mm rad though. 5000D is just way too big for me. Like, yeah, I built in one. It's too big for my liking. I'm more of a fan of like, it's 5000D is considered a mid tower, right? I think it's considered a mid tower, but man, it sure feels like it's starting to push into full towers territory. The 5000D. TD500 is also pretty solid from Cooler Master. The TD500, it starts, so TD500 isn't that different in terms of like, okay, it's a pretty boxy mesh front airflow design case. The TD500, the design, I think it could turn some people off. Let's take a look at this picture real here from Amazon. Like with the TD500, you start getting this fractal stuff on the side glass, and then on the front you get that tessellated like geometrical design, and the front panel it's got these kind of like angles on it. It's not a boring flat box, which could be a good or a bad thing depending on who you ask. So I like the TD500 as well though. How much is this going for right now? 150 bucks. No way that's normal. I think, let's see, TD500. See if on Newegg how much that costs. Amazon prices are just weird sometimes. Oh, it is 150 with 20 bucks rebate. Yeah, so I feel like this is a little bit expensive. It does come with 3 RGB fans though. The RGB fans are getting cheap nowadays. You could get non-Cooler Master RGB fans to put into a cheaper case and come in well below 150. But price aside, yeah, I like this one. Yeah, Pop Air from Fractal Design is pretty solid as well. Let's see, I want to look at the Newegg for the pricing. Okay, Fractal Pop Air, tempered glass. Yeah, so this, again, this, let's see, 80 bucks for just a pretty standard square case with, you know, a front mesh. You can't really go wrong with a case like this. This one does not have any included fans except for the rear. So one rear included fan for exhaust, and then you have to populate the front, which will easily bring you up to like around 100 bucks. Just like the rest of the competitors. Yeah, the thing about cases is that there are a ton of case options to choose from. I feel like it's hard to choose a bad case in this day and age. Unless you're going for like the really cheap DIY PC or like really low-end cases. So long as it has a front mesh cover, temperatures for the most part are not going to be an issue. If you have mesh on the top, mesh in the front, and you're not doing a crazy high-end build, you're fine with pretty much most of the options out there. So then it comes down to your preferences for how it looks at the end of the day and how much it costs. Oh, does this one come? Does this $80 option come with 2 front fans? Let me take a look. It's let me. What does it say right here? For up to 3 hard drives, come with 3. Oh, it does come with 3 aspect fans. Oh, okay. Oh, then that's good then. Especially if you don't care about RGB. For 80 bucks, you're pretty much set then. Where's the last photo that you're talking about? Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah. Do you guys think it looks a little funny when... Because there's so many other parts that have RGB integrated into it now. Like RAM, you can pretty much get RGB RAM for the same price almost with RGB in it. Graphics cards, you know, they have their own LEDs or RGBs. And then coolers and stuff like that. Do you think it's funny when the front fans don't have RGB, but you have other RGB in the system? It is very boring, which, I mean, some people don't care really much about the aesthetics. They just care about their PC working and performing well. So while this is boring, it works well for a stealth black build, and it's priced well, so... And yeah. In terms of manufacturing, Fractal design, pretty reputable in the industry. Whoa, this is a new take that I don't think I've heard before. Demon Mitt says, if your components are RGB, your fans should not be. If your fans are RGB, your components shouldn't be. That's my personal preference. That's interesting. I'm trying to think of both scenarios. If your fans are RGB, then your components, none of them being RGB. Does that look a little funny? I'm sure. Okay, we'll go to the gallery and we'll see if Demon Mitt has posted any builds like this. Where's Demon Mitt's builds? There's Shawner's. Where's it at? So here's Demon Mitt's. So here's fans. So that's RGB fans. Let's look at the components. Ah, so he's practicing what he preaches. I'm trying to see if he does this with all the builds. So yeah, we have the RGB fans on everything, including the cooler, but none on the graphics card, none on the RAM, and the motherboard, you can't really help if it's there. Okay, let's see what other build. Here's another one. So here's RGB fans here. He does have RGB RAM, and on the cooler block. But I guess what other components could we not have RGB on? I guess the RAM would be the big thing that sticks out here that does not follow that design philosophy. Here's one where he does follow it. It's just standard white RAM, but the fans are RGB here, or at least LEDs. Booth 732 says, you didn't go to Taiwan? No, I did not go to Taiwan. I took a vacation with my wife out of the country and just came back right before Computex started. There's no way I would be able to do Computex right afterwards. Because Computex, a trip like that, if you're gonna go, I feel like if you go to these conventions, especially like the international convention, maybe CES and stuff, you can make a short trip out of it. But if you're gonna go to Taiwan, you should be going for more than just Computex. You're already going to that side of the world. Make the most of it and take some extra time to yourself. So yeah, there's no way I was fitting in Computex with how we had our vacations planned this year. I am still going to LTX, yes. LTX is not considered international for me because I'm in Washington State. Vancouver is like 2 to 3 hour drive away. So it's not a long flight for me at all. But yeah, so I actually never noticed that about Demon Mitt's builds, that he does use, when he does RGB for the fan. I guess I haven't seen an inverse. I haven't seen RGB components with no RGB fans. All the builds from Demon Mitt, it looks like it is RGB fan, RGB list components. Yeah, here we have it again. We've got the fans with the RGB. and with the rest of the stuff not. So, hey, he practices what he preaches. You did a potty break in Canada while canoeing. So going to Canada for LTX counts as international for you. And you're coming from what, Colorado? So it's a little bit further than from me, but the trip to Canada for you could be equivalent to like a trip to like the East Coast, about in terms of like miles traveled. Plus, going to Canada's it feels pretty similar to the U.S. In terms of like the diversity there, as opposed to going to the other side of the world or something where everybody is like, you know, speaks a different language and everyone is not like American or white. You're not driving though, right? Shawner, you're flying? No way you're gonna drive that. You pinged the post? Okay, let's see. Wait, where did you ping the post? Oh. Oh, your own rig. Okay. Here's one where Demon Mitt does the opposite. Okay, let me look at, yep, there it is. There's the fans. Okay. So here we have RGB CPU. Yeah, that's the block or plate. We got the RAM, and then we got, I can't tell if that's the motherboard from this angle. If that's on the motherboard or the case, that's on the case. Yeah, because the strip expands beyond the motherboard. So yeah, here's one. So yeah, he practices what he preaches. No RGB fans, but RGB on the components. I've actually never thought of that like combination of design practice. Now I'm gonna look out for it more though, now that you've mentioned it. Yeah, right here. N2 Tech, can't take my gun, deal breaker, JK. What do you need a gun for LTX or Canada for? Canada, they say, is so safe that you don't even have to lock your front door or lock your car doors. Igor is driving to LTX from Texas? Oof, that is a long drive. Are you making a road trip out of it and stopping at like other major points along the way? Or are you just going to LTX and just going back? Because that seems like it may not be worth it. Oh, crap. I needed to check my offer up. Okay. Person has not responded. Whew. So no offer up deal, it looks like tonight. You're driving to Calgary and then flying to Vancouver. Okay. Okay, let's go back to what else we got from Computex. So we got the BeQuiet, we got the Silverstone, VRM RAM cooler. We still gotta look at Shawner's PC. We're an hour and a half into stream, so what else? Did I have anything else pulled up for Computex? We start closing all these tabs. I got a million of them open. Here's the Lian Li Vision case, which this looks super clean, but man, to make something look really good in a build like this, because you've got like all glass, and this is where I say the curve on the Montech case doesn't really make sense. This looks good enough. You still have the seam there, and this is probably cheaper to manufacture because you're dealing with straight, you know, flat glass. I don't know, but are people sick of the 011 cases by this point? Every time they make like small iterations to it, but for the most part, it still has the same kind of like the bare bones, kind of like 2-chamber design, side intake. Like, we've seen this case multiple times already. Why are they using 2 types of fans? Yeah, they're using the unifans here, and then whatever whatever fans are probably came with that comes with their AIO here. Yeah, let's see. What does this actually come with in terms of fans? 3 sides of columnless glass is what they're calling it. Columnless glass. For the most seamless view of components. My question is, now that I'm thinking about it, for the top panel of a case, I don't know. You're mostly sitting at your computer. I don't know how often I'm looking at my computer standing up. Usually I am level with the computer, so I don't know how useful a top is. When you remove the top mesh, you remove top radiator support, which I guess is fine in this case because you do have the side mounted rad here. I don't know. I am not often looking down at my computer to make use of this top panel. These 2 glass panels make sense here. These 2 on the side. Top one, I don't know how much sense that makes. Riot Noob says heat rises. Heat does rise unless you have an airflow path, which this one looks like it's exhaust on the bottom. So that rising heat will be pulled. Like, yeah, if there was no fans, then sure heat would rise, but this would be pulling the warm air out. The way that the fans are set up. Heat won't have a chance to rise here. It's gonna go with the whatever the airflow path is. There's no intake on that PC. Let's see. Exhaust here. Oh, wow. Yeah, I think you're actually right. Usually you would intake on this side, but kind of like... So this might just be a mock-up shot, right? Because we've talked about this in a previous stream. Or actually, when I built in the Hyte Y60 case, and I decided to put intake fans on the side here. But if you put intake here, because of the way that these are designed, and I think, was it Thermaltake who are now making it so that you can have intake that look like this without having the you know, the cross brace supports here. But you would probably want to set this up as intake here to maximize the radiator performance, and then exhaust at the bottom and rear. But they faced... Yeah, this is weird. You're right, it is pretty goofy. Let me zoom in more. This is like, now it's gonna be pixelated. Yeah, so it does have intake. Intake bottom. Yeah, the cross braces are closer to us. Still, you get that same aesthetic issue though. Anytime you show the backside of the fan, it doesn't look as good. So it's just whether or not you want to do that up here on the radiator or down here. Yeah, I think this is definitely just for a mock-up. Johnny Sass says, why aren't you at Computex? Because 1, it's really expensive, and 2, I already had an international trip right before Computex. It just didn't line up. It didn't work out. Alright, so Gamdia's Niso P1. So this is what... Oh. So this is what, Demon was talking about earlier. Cross this out. Where are some pictures of it? I can't zoom in. Gamdius, why? Okay. Oh, dude. When did this come out? They're doing that kind of like rising sun pattern that reminds me a lot of the Hyte. The way that the Hyte top panel vents look. I mean, this actually looks a lot like the Hyte case. I'm not going to say they're completely copying them because at the end of the day, you can only do so much with PC cases to make them look unique, right? But, so are they, they're trying to do that curve? Like, what's the point of this? All right, let me read this. Dual chamber chassis, trapezoidal appearance. Trapezoidal appearance. Okay. Panoramic display. Panoramic display. Still with the with the break in the glass though. Okay, one touch button mechanism, dual hinged door. I like the hinged door. Modular pedestals, alternative appearance. Okay, what was the point of making this round? Is it? Yeah. Oh my god. This looks exactly like a Hyte case. But regardless of that, what was the point of making this portion round as opposed to straight? I guess it's not technically considered a curved glass because that looks like a non-glass part of it, of the case. I can't zoom in anymore. The way the website's designed doesn't let you zoom into the picture. It can be laid down on his back. It has feet mounts there. It looks like a toaster oven. Yeah. Gam Diaz with a unique, kind of unique looking case, but I think I do not like the way that these designs are where it has like an equal thickness top and bottom portion like this. It's definitely exactly copying the Y50, but if you're gonna do this, just get rid of the what I call bezels, or like, yeah. There's no reason to have this thick white trim on the top and bottom if you're already having the PSU basement in the back. I don't think this looks good at all. That'd be funny if they did call it the Y50. Right in between, or the G40 or something for Gam Diaz representation. Craig Lilly said, ding, CPU's done. Wait, what do you mean? Ding, CPU's done? For what? Yeah, again, I've already mentioned that these cases look like 3D printers. The ones with like enclosures. Yeah. NVX says, I want a good working PC. I don't care if it doesn't get the highest FPS, but something that works for and good for gaming, but I'm so broke, PC are so expensive. Well, it depends on what... Okay. It's weird because I think it really depends on like where you are at in life, I guess. I think a lot of people would agree that right now, PCs and PC components, if you want something that performs well and works well, it's like a really good time to not only build a PC, but PC parts are pretty cheap compared to what we just came out of the pandemic. Of course, all the new and high-end stuff coming out, that's not going to be affordable, but most people don't need that stuff. If you needed to build a PC right now for $700 to $800, you could build a pretty good PC, brand new, and that could do a lot for you. So in that regard, that's pretty cheap. But $700 to like me, to you, to like a random person, that could be interpreted as cheap or expensive, right? Like $700 if you're a working adult who is not heavily in debt, that's very affordable. But if you have other priorities or responsibilities, or if you're a kid in high school with no job, then yeah, $700 is expensive. So I mean, this comment right here, it's so expensive without knowing your whole situation and what budget you have to work with. It's kind of hard to interpret. Yeah, SSDs and RAM, not only just right now, but for the last, I feel like year and a half, maybe even 2 years, it's been really affordable. Every video I've made has been commenting on how cheap RAM and SSDs have been for like the last 2 years. Wait, you just bought a 3060 12 gigabyte for 180? Where are those deals at in my location? I need to pick up a 3060 Ti, and the cheapest one I could get is $280. On eBay, they're going for around the same too, but you have to pay tax and wait. Yeah, the cheapest one, and it's a Founders Edition, so I guess I can say I have that in my collection, is that. But, yeah. I mean, 3060, yeah, it's not that old. 2 years and only one generation old. Technically, the 4060 is not even full, like, it's like not even out yet, right? So, there's no replacement for it yet. $180 though, that's a pretty good price. I think $180 for a 3060 Ti is actually a really good price because they've held their value pretty well. And you didn't have to pay. Wait, you bought it on Facebook. Did it get shipped to you? If you bought it in person, then there's no tax, so that's always a good thing. Bro, I'm working on $40. Well, yeah, if you're working on $40, that's pretty tough. Yeah, like Shawner said, if you can get to $400, then you start getting into, like, you know, 1080p territory of gaming. If you look on sites like Jawa, or if you can pick up something good in your local area. Even on Jawa though, for $400, you're gonna be getting builds that have, like, I don't know, Skylake, KB Lake processors or first gen Ryzen, as well as like RX 470s and stuff, probably, because they still gotta make their profit over there. The question is, NVX, how old are you, and do you have a job, or are you capable of working? Because that pretty much answers everything, whether or not, like, a PC or a console will be in your near future. Oh, I wanted to go. Oh crap. Okay, we gotta do this real fast because I think this is pretty cool. Corsair iCUE Link. I think that pretty much says most of it at the end here. This is literally what a Corsair system could look like once you have all the fans and stuff plugged in and RGB. And going to this, it's huge. And it's not just Corsair too. You get this mess of cables, like, from any company's, you know, products worth of RGB fans and coolers and stuff like that. So I think this is pretty awesome. I'm just waiting to see what the price difference is with their new system versus, because they're still going to be selling their old stuff, I'm pretty sure. It's not like they're just going to completely scrap everything. So seeing both of their offerings side by side on, like, Amazon or Newegg, I'm very curious what the price difference is going to be for, you know, parts that incorporate this new system versus the old. Shawner says, all I'm seeing is money. Corsair, $45 to $50 per fan when? Well, what are their current fan prices? It's not too far from that already. Like, if I were to go Amazon, Corsair RGB fan. Corsair fans, let's see, 3 for $82, single fans. Where's the single fans? They're already, like, you could already find some of their fans for $35. So, are they gonna keep, I mean, $35 for a single fan? I don't know about y'all, but that's pretty expensive. You could buy a 3-pack of RGB fans from obviously a knockoff brand for like 25 bucks. And here is one single fan for 35. So what is this new link system gonna do to all their component pricing? We're gonna have to wait and see. Pico Up says Corsair needs to stop reminding me that I'm poor. I mean, Pico Up, you have a big boy job. You could technically afford Corsair stuff, I bet. It's just that you are money conscious and it just doesn't make sense for you to do that. Because the benefit of spending more on a system like this does not bring you any more happiness, or, you know, it doesn't improve your life that much more than the cheap versions of all this. So we're gonna watch this again. Let's run a poll. So the last poll was the curved design glass. People like it more. A little bit more people like it than they don't. Okay. We're gonna ask this one. Yo, Demon Man, quick question about you for the Corsair iCUE software. Do you ever run into issues with trying to get to control all the fan lighting exactly how you want it? I feel like for Corsair's iCUE system, for it having everything connected to the hub and controllable with one piece of software, it still isn't super intuitive. And I don't use a ton of Corsair like products because of how expensive they are. And the people I build PCs for, they don't typically want it. But for the few systems I've built for friends that they wanted, like the Corsair stuff, trying to sync the lighting, I swear, it's like they have the theme things. I forgot what it's called, but it's kind of like themes where like it always tries to override the settings that I'm trying to put on specific fans and things like that. It just takes some setup time, but once it's set up, it seems easy. Yeah, maybe the next time I do like a Corsair build with the hub or something, maybe I could show it like live online. But getting their software to like having all the fans on there is not that bad. But if you wanted to do like one set of fans to do one effect, another set of fans to do another effect, having that all saved, sometimes I've pulled my hair out trying to do that. Oh, you let the customers do all the config and make it their own? Okay, so that's probably why. Yeah, like when I did the build for my buddy in the all white build and had to set all the colors to like red or like red/white or like having a pulsing effect and stuff like that, it's not super intuitive. And I still have to spend quite a bit of time playing with the software as opposed to just like being able to set it and be done. Alright, side read. I have used Signal RGB. Signal RGB. The only thing I hate about Signal RGB is that sometimes you can't have any other RGB, like even the innate ones, the native ones that come with either your motherboard or your other fans, because then they start clashing with each other. And I've tried Signal RGB. I've only ever actually used it a couple of times. A lot of the times I've had to revert back to using like the onboard motherboard software or something like that, just because I couldn't get all the lighting effects I wanted because Signal RGB, it clashes heads with existing software. But I've tried it. That's the thing about RGB right now. There's no one-stop good solution. Sometimes the motherboard one works decently. Sometimes you have to go to like Open RGB or Signal RGB. And then sometimes you have to do a mix of them, if that. is possible. Sometimes with your graphics card, you have to get the specific graphics card software because it doesn't play well with your motherboard. RGB is still like annoying right now. Oh, NVX, you're 13? That explains why your PCs are expensive to you. Yeah, of course, anything in the hundreds of dollars is going to be considered expensive to someone who's, you know, not able to work and still a young teenager. Yeah, I've run into the same thing too, Demon Man. Several parts that just signal RGB, because they are constantly getting updates. It just didn't work, so it's hit or miss. Signal RGB, it has that, I think every time you open it too, it wants you to like sign in or log in. I'm pretty sure you could use it as guest mode because I would never make an account for that. But when software has stuff like that, it already annoys me. So it makes me not want to use it then or in the future. Like every time I try to use Signal RGB, it's like, oh, please sign in. And then like there's the smallest X mark or like use as guest mode, and I don't know, I just find that so annoying. Would I pay a massive premium for the new Lian Li fans with the screen in them? I've not seen that, but before we get to that, let's take a look at Shawner's build. So Shawner finally has his PC up and running after I don't even know how many months it's been. I think he's been sitting on some of these parts for a while. It's probably not as long as I am thinking, but all right. He redid it mainly because he wanted to do this Fractal Design North case with the wooden front. I don't even know what you would call this. I wouldn't call it front filters because it's not the filter, but it's just the design. It had these wooden slats. It's been a few months, he says. Alright. So there's a side piece. There's this one. He's got different... Shawner, did you take all this with the same photo? For some reason, the haze in this image looks like it's taken our phone. And then this one is taken... Oh, maybe it's because the tempered glass is on there. But this one looks a lot more crisp. Probably better lighting and stuff too is a factor in that. But, alright, so there's the build. I think this one is probably shows the best in terms of everything inside. Yeah, very, very clean looking build. Why is these look like they are RGB on your RAM? Is there a reason they're not on at white settings? I mean, let's see, what do you have going on here? You have a Corsair block, and you have Corsair fans. Is everything hooked up to the hub and are using iCUE? I like this photo with your keyboard and the plant. The plant and the keyboard being kind of like that green. It brings like a like that woodsy, minty aesthetic to this. Very clean looking build though. I'm glad your build's finally up, Shawner. Now you're still just waiting on the cable from Cable Mods, right? The connector from Cable Mods. So, I mean, at least it's functional. Yeah, no, dude. Sometimes, just like RGB stuff is very finicky. I totally get what you're saying, especially like sometimes when you turn on your computers, there's some hardware that don't turn on until you're actually into Windows, and like it stays off during the entire boot up process or in the BIOS and stuff like that. It's like, why? I've never seen a full-size keyboard with custom caps. Really? I guess it's because most of the keyboard modders and enthusiast community, they always, man, they go for like the smallest keyboards ever. How do you guys like function without a numpad? I don't know. Like, mine's what is this considered? 96%, 92%, whatever. It's pretty much a full-size keyboard except compact, so that you don't have wasted space in between. But I need my numpad. I cannot go without a numpad. So I don't get how people be using these 60% keyboards, and then they have to use like Alt or Function to get like any extra stuff, like any of the ends, home, page up, page down, deletes, any of that stuff. All right. Someone was mentioning. Wait, did Gear Seekers have a video on that? Someone was mentioning LEDs in the fans. All right, where's it at? Who's got the LEDs in the fans? Is it this Lian Li one? Screens in the fans. It is Lian Li. Okay, so it's gonna be on his Computex coverage. Okay. Let's see. Oh wait, when you say LEDs, I'm thinking like a. Oh, it is a screen LED.
Becomes real. Like with the Unifans in 2019, it was a concept. It's real. It's more real than it's ever been. This is something I've seen so many comments about. When are Lian Li going to do reverse pitch fan blades? Doing it now. They're going to be...
Okay, so with regards to the reverse pitch fan blade, which we saw earlier on that Lian Li case, here you go. So now you can have intake while showing this side of the fan on the inside and not making it ugly too, right? So that's good, but the screen, I'm very curious.
These brand new Lian Li fans with the screens on the hubs, they're literally, look at this, right? They're called new Unifan series. They don't have a name. All of the new stuff with it running like a network is all well and good, but it needs hardware to support it. And this is where the new controller comes in. This is a prototype. This will allow for up to 16 fans to be connected to it and to power all of them. Corsair, that's 2 more fans than your new system. Thought it was worth mentioning. We'll probably have a Corsair video out at around about the same time. It's up.
Do they have any examples of it with this like something showing on the screen? Like, so everything that he's shown so far is with the screen. Oh, there it is. Okay.
And Lian Li's jumping aboard that train. This is for people who want the ultimate customization with their PC. Check this out, right? They have fans now with screens in the middle of each of the fan hubs.
Gimmick? Yes or no? I'm thinking Gimmick. I don't... So, if you think about designing a PC incorporating this, right? Are you then kind of for... Especially if you're going for like really clean aesthetics and a unifying design. If you use a single fan with this, does all the rest of your fans have to have this in the rest of the case to not look weird? And then if you do have all your fans in your case having the screen, what are you going to put on each of the screens? Like, I'm off the top of my head, I'm trying to think of any cool designs that you could do to put on all these fans. And I can't really think of any that would be like, wow, that's actually cool. So this definitely comes off as very gimmicky. I'm very curious what the price is going to be. It can't be that cheap because as we've seen, just even putting it an LED screen on something like an AIO block, that drives up the price of AIO coolers like by quite a bit. So having it on each individual fan, what are these gonna be priced at, and what could you actually put on them that makes sense to not just be a flex of I have a ton of money, but actually be like coherent to the overall design? You have to put Pac-Man, only Pac-Man. Wait, Craig Lilly, what do you mean by thumbnail? What do you mean by thumbnail? Dude, Pico Up says, and I thought screens in refrigerators was over the top. Does anyone here in the chat have a refrigerator screen, a refrigerator with a screen on it, like a smart fridge? I don't know anybody personally that has one of those in their house. What do you need a screen on your refrigerator for? I guess it could tell you information about the temperatures inside, but you could also do that with a dumb display too. Like, I don't know what you need a screen for. I think one cool thing about a screen for a fridge would be is if you have an internal camera, if you can make the screen display with the internal wide angle camera showing, so that you can look at what's inside without opening it and releasing, you know, cold air. But that's the only thing. Yeah, tweeting from your fridge. That was the meme when fridges with screens came out. Using social media, Facebooking from your fridge. Hey, what's up, Richard? How you doing? Did David actually do a video with a screen for on fridges? David makes tons of videos, so I definitely probably missed that one. Oh, like for my avatar pick? Yeah, I guess if you were making a completely themed PC and for like, you know, like let's say content creators, right? Or streamers, they always have like their brand logo or something like that. You could put that on these fans and have it pulsing or doing something cool. But this is definitely, I feel like this is like the whole iCUE link ecosystem that Corsair released. That is very practical. It is definitely a flex on your wealth, but is also at the same time practical. Something like this, it just seems like a flex on how much money you have to spend. But I could be proven wrong. Once these are actually released, we could see how the community puts together builds utilizing them. And we'll see if there's actually cool ways to use it that we haven't thought of yet because they're so new. Can the fan screens run Doom? Exactly right. Can you run different games on every individual screen on these fans? What is Johnny Stash's comment in relation to? Those fans are only $25 for a 3-pack. Which fans is he talking about? In case you want to watch porn in the kitchen. Oh yeah, these, yeah, right. 25 bucks for a 3-pack, if only. I think we have yet to see a cheap version of the LCD screen on an AIO. Like, I think it's only available from, actually, whoa, what is this? Liquid cooler display. You could buy, oh my god, why would you spend $70 for a kit? That's as much as an AIO costs. Like a cheaper AIO. What This isn't even from a specific brand. This is just from, interesting. And it takes up a USB header on your motherboard or hub. Yeah, but I'm waiting for when the, you know, the ID coolings of the world and stuff get their hands on LED screens and make sub $100 AIOs with them, because right now they're really expensive. Like, what's the cheapest option from Aorus even? Liquid AIO, rotatable LCD display. Yeah, so the Aorus one is 180 for just a 240, not even 280. Same with Corsair, same with NZXT. They're all closer to the $200 mark. We need to start seeing the ID coolings and equivalents come out with sub $100 LCD screen coolers. Josh says, I'm out, but love the Craigslist. Wish Craigslist was cool with other platforms, but they jank. You never talk about treasure lists. What are you talking about? But can you run Doom on an AIO? I've actually, beyond just like using these displays for what they are, I've actually never tried to do anything extra, like play games on them. Next time I have one in hand, I should try that. I don't have any of these like in my studio right now or like in my house. All the LCD screen stuff, it's gone into computers that went to other people. So I don't have like any of these to play with. Are we still waiting for those LCD air coolers to come out? Those are from Deepcool. Yep. When I type in LCD air cooler, I get air conditioners. Yeah, so, oh, here we go. 75 bucks though. Oof. I don't remember how much the Deepcool ones were supposed to cost. But having that temperature, this isn't even like a full LCD screen either. It's just like only numbers. But I would like to see more of this. Having instant temperature information and not having to have like an app or have to rely on an app and stuff, this is so much nicer. So more affordable of these coolers would be something that I would like to see. Wouldn't more wires be mesh to hide? It's one extra wire. It's not like with every addition, it's only one more thing you're adding. Wires are a problem with fans because you need more fans in your system. If it was just one fan, I don't think anyone would ever complain about RGB and fan wires. But the fact that it multiplies 2 to 3 wires, depending on the fan, for every single fan you have, that makes it a big issue. But one USB header coming off of this thing, not the biggest deal in the world. Alright, I think that's pretty much gonna... What else do we have? In terms of Computex coverage, it has only technically been... What time is it in Taiwan right now? I don't even think the next day of Computex... Yes. Oh, 10 a.m. So it's probably just starting up now. So, in terms of Computex, it is still in only the first couple of days so far. So there's still gonna be a lot more coming out, but... From what we've seen so far, I think for me, the biggest highlight is probably going to be that Corsair link system. And again, not because I'm going to personally be buying it or using it a lot in the future. It's more of that's the direction and thinking that the industry needs to be doing so that we could have it more mainstream and lower the price. But what are your guys' biggest like excitements from what you've seen so far from Computex? Yeah, for me, it's gonna be Corsair, their new Link ecosystem. Oh, side read says check height, so I'll do that while we just chill for a bit. What's their new case? The Q60? No. You said a new case, right? The Thicc Q60. Do you have a link for it, Sadri? Oh, you're talking about the Thicc Q60? Okay, we can take a look at that. What is this design? What is this right here? I'm trying to figure out. So wait, why am I getting mixed signals? Okay, so yeah, I was wondering like why does this picture? Oh, see, this picture makes it look like whatever this thing is the radiator, and then here's the tubes coming down to the pump block, but that's not it. The pump block has something that sticks out, and there's a screen that pops out of the block. Okay. Okay, so yeah, this has a really thick radiator. We get that height. Okay. The all-in-one digital liquid cooler is here. Is this it? Okay, I was about to say I need to see this in a PC because with that screen floating there, how is it gonna look? It actually doesn't look too bad. Yo, Hyte, we know what happens when you put big beefy graphics cards right next to glass like this. It's not a good pairing, so I made a YouTube short about it actually. So this is just getting a bigger LCD screen because now this thing, it like floats over your pump block and it's not confined to the space of like what's mounted to the motherboard. It protrudes from it. I don't know how I feel about this. I feel like I would rather just put a screen somewhere else in the PC. If you're getting to the point where you're making it float above the pump block, this looks pretty extra to me. Screen too big, overkill. Yeah, why is Discord still going off? I'm telling you, I'm in the settings. I have it muted on the Windows application. Yeah, see, I have it disabled here, and I disabled Discord on my my actual desktop program too. I don't know why it keeps on playing the noises. Discord, yep, I have it disabled on my Discord program. I have it disabled on browser and program. Why the sounds keep coming through, I don't know. Yeah, this looks like a whole complete phone though. Here's Hyte. Shit. My opinion on Hyte is they're overhyped. Maybe it's very fitting that they name their company Hyte. I feel like a lot of their stuff is overhyped. I just kind of roll my eyes at half of it. This Discord notification is gonna be the end of me. I have no idea where that sound is coming from. Yeah, check all channels and I disabled all notifications. As you saw, this is what I did for both sides on Discord. Yeah, see, for the sounds on Discord, you can disable all notification sounds. So for it to still come through, I have no idea what it's coming from. Freaking turn on do not disturb. Okay, I guess I can try to do that. Where's that at? Do not disturb. Do not disturb. So I just did that right now on here. And I will do so on my desktop off the browser as well. Okay. Maybe that's it. I just need to be on do not disturb, which again, I'm not a huge Discord user despite having the Discord server. So yeah. Even if it's messages, wouldn't you think that turn off all notifications, it said all notifications, that should have included messages? KL130 says do not disturb is never off for me. Okay, it looks like it's never gonna be off for me either. Cause yeah, those Discord notification sounds have interrupted my recording as well. Yeah, see? So it's not just me. Other people always get them no matter what they try to do, and do not disturb is the only... Okay. Yeah. Yep, Buzzkiller says, I can never find where Discord notifications are coming from. Yeah, I was in the same boat. I thought I knew how to turn them off, but they kept on going. Just close Discord. Well, I'm keeping Discord open on the stream so I can pull stuff up. So it's kind of hard to just close Discord. You just mute the actual program. So I couldn't mute it here because I'm using it on the Chrome browser, and since we were playing videos, I needed some of the Chrome stuff to be not muted, but I needed the Discord tab to be muted, so yeah. No, Volume Mixer wouldn't have taken care of it because it would take care of the Discord side of things, but not the Discord on Google Chrome, which I use to show on screen, because that's part of the Chrome, like, you know, slider. Did your guys' Google Chrome, does your guys' Windows Volume Mixer separate every Chrome tab? Mine doesn't. And I've never looked into trying to change the settings of that. All my Chrome windows and tabs are under one volume slider with the default Windows settings. I do not have the ability to... Let me see, can I mute a specific tab? Oh, mute site. Okay. Wait, mute site. Unmute? Ah, there you go. I've actually never looked into... Yeah, you can do it on Chrome. You just right-click the tab and mute and unmute. I've never really needed to do that. Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna go off of Do Not Disturb now. Let's see if that fixes the problem. Okay, I'm gonna go back on online. I'm gonna go back on the Discord program online. Let's see if the Discord notifications still come through. Sideway says, I right click. Yeah, but that's something that you have to do initially. Once you join so many servers, and don't ask me why I'm in so many servers. It's more like I joined the server and then I like refuse to leave. Just in case I'm curious and want to go back in the server years down the line or something. Like I still go to dead servers or very inactive servers to randomly look through it and see what's going on. So yeah. It would be too hard to individually go through every channel of every server and say to turn off notifications. That's way too much work at this point in time. Yeah, see, Shawner knows what I'm talking about. Being in a ton of those types of servers that you're not active in. You joined for some reason at some point. It's the equivalent of being a hoarder. Hoarding Discord servers that you've joined and never getting rid or leaving them. Hey, what's up, Gnomed? Welcome to the stream. Near the end of stream anyways. You're in that's actually a good point. You get the stickers, right? For being in the servers. I need to leave that one. I'm still in that Falcodrin or Falcondrin or whatever. Let's see if we can find it here. I'm still in that Discord server. Where is it at? If I can find it. Falcodrin. Where is it at? Oh, did I actually leave it? I could have sworn I didn't yet. It's here. It's gotta be here somewhere. So I'm in a lot of WoW servers because whenever I, you know, in WoW, when you join a raid, you gotta join the server to be on voice comms. So where is that one? Oh, here it is. The Falcodrin community. This is the stock checker, stock drops. Are they still posting in here? The last time they posted was October 2022. But yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. You can turn something on in Chrome settings where there's... Oh, okay, there'll be a volume icon and you can press it to mute. Okay. Here's the thing though. Will that button show up if this is what... This is what my Chrome tabs typically look at. And I have multiple windows of this many tabs usually at the top. So my issue is that I never close tabs out until basically I'm ready to shut down the computer. I pretty much keep tabs open. You know, I'm one of those typical people who has like 50 tabs plus going on at any point in time. So trying to find or turning on the mute ability for each tab, it becomes useless because the sound can come from one of any of the tabs and I won't be able to find it. Close your tabs? No, I refuse. I'm also those type of people. Let me look at my Gmail. Yo, check your guys's Gmail or whatever email service you use. How many unread emails do you have in your main inbox? I have 24,632. I need to... It's gotten to the point where it's so daunting. Like, how do you fix that? Just delete everything? I can't. Gnomed more than 83k. Okay, I thought my 24,000 was bad. Shawner's got 6,800. Jacksta says that's what I need to do. I need to click read all and then get on top of it because I don't like archiving or deleting emails because I have had the need to pull up emails from 15 years ago. And either deleting them would make them not show up and archiving would, I think that would make it harder to come up as compared to if it was just in the inbox. But yeah, so what I need to do is click read all and then go through it every day. I don't know if I've ever done that since I made my main Gmail account, but yeah. Oh, Kenny, that's not with my Nerd on a Budget email. My Nerd on a Budget email is better because I made that later on. My Nerd on a Budget email only has 5,600. I'm talking about my personal email account. Like, the one that I don't use for YouTube. That one's at 24,000. And that's not even including the social, the updates, the forums, the promotions. Those are... My promotions is in the 89,000. Wow, that's bad. Mark all as red. Can I get myself to do that? I don't know. Mark all as red. Oof. I'll think about it. It's a pain. I cleared out 12K at one point. Just took the loss. Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna clear it out because space-wise, email is not a problem. It's just I still want everything to be searchable because Gmail has such a nice like. Have you ever used any other email service like Yahoo or anything like that? Have you ever tried searching for an old email on those search engines? It's bad. Gmail, you can find almost anything as long as you know a couple of keywords from, and even the year. If you type in the year that the email was sent plus the keywords, you can find stuff from like decades ago. I know, man. I'm still subscribed to stupid stuff like, what's it called? What's that deal stuff? What's that stuff where they send you Groupons and then Living Social stuff that, do they even exist anymore? I think I'm pretty sure I'm still subscribed to those. I need to get on it. I know. Alright, I think that's pretty much gonna wrap it up for this stream though. So, a lot of people, I'm not even sure if those people are still watching the stream, but people were asking about the LAN party video. That was supposed to come out during Japan, but I didn't get to work on it during the flight to and from Japan like I thought I did, or I didn't work on it. It's not that I didn't get to work on it, it's just not comfortable working on a tiny laptop on a foldable tray on an airplane. I'm trying to get that out this weekend, the Texas LAN party video. Then I have stuff that I owe to companies. One of it is to Solidigm and their SSD. I have a sponsor for that. Also, I owe NVIDIA RTX 4060 Ti content. I'm not going to just do a dedicated review video because I'm already too late to the boat on that. So I'm going to do a hybrid review with incorporating this into a system build. So I'll do a system build and then also treat it kind of like a review where I'll pit it against other graphics cards as well in the same budget for the build. But yeah, so I've got this that I've got to do. And then I'm supposed to be getting the RX 7600. And then that's going to be another video. So a lot of stuff that I need to catch up on since, you know, being out of the country for 2.5 weeks does not help with that. So I'll be on the lookout for that. But yeah, for now, streams are back on normal schedule. Nothing should throw it off schedule for a long time. LTX happens on the weekend, so that's not going to mess up stream schedule. So we're back to regular Wednesdays at 5 p.m. after, you know, the last few weeks of moving days and moving times and stuff. But yeah, hope everyone has a great rest of your week. I'm sure by the end of Computex, we'll have more stuff to look at on stream next week. So I look forward to doing that. But yeah, have a great rest of your week. Have a great weekend coming up. And hope you all had a safe Memorial Day. And I'll see you, yeah, in the next stream and or the comments of the next video. Take care, everyone. Thanks for coming. And I'll see you next time.